Hey everybody, Gary here with the Dario Education Collective, and in this video I want to talk about the importance of having a structured lesson routine where expectations are clear and students are held accountable in each lesson. So classroom teachers have to have this kind of routine for their success, and for good reason. So we could take some of the things that they do when they structure their lessons and bring them into our one-on-one lessons. By having a clear routine, lessons are going to be a lot more efficient, students are going to stay more on track, and everything is going to be a lot smoother. So you're going to want to define those expectations and be explicit about them. What happens the moment students walk into every lesson? What materials are they expected to have with them? What is the opening routine? What's the closing routine? What happens first? What happens last? What are the goals for the session? What are their practice goals during the week between sessions? So here's a few ideas for how you might want to structure your lesson, but depending on the age of your student, how much time you have, the level, you might want to modify this. So the student comes in, they take out the materials that they're expected to have, and they put them on the music stand. This could be a folder that you have them keep. It could be a binder. Could be the music book that you're working through, a manuscript pad, a practice journal, and they open up to the last page in whichever materials that you're using. So this could take a couple of minutes, then you tune the guitars together, make sure that you're both tuned up. Could take another couple minutes. Another thing you can do right here is review a practice tracking sheet where students can tell you exactly what they practiced during the week, and you can take a couple minutes to reflect on that. What worked for them, what didn't work, where did most of their time go, what were some things that were lacking in their practice. So once that is all done, now it's time for them to show you exactly what they've been working on during the week. So it's almost a little performance of all the things they've been practicing. After they show you each thing they've practiced one at a time, you could provide feedback and give them some tips on next steps. So that whole opening sequence might take about 15 minutes. So after that opening sequence, now you've got the body of the lesson. And the body of the lesson could be related to what the student just played you. So here's where you talk about what comes next. Maybe you're continuing from what you did last week, adding something to it. Maybe you're distributing new material, but this is where most of the new teaching and learning is going to happen. So after you talk about what comes next or go over any new material, you want to make sure that your student understands exactly what you've taught them and you feel that they will be able to succeed after the lesson when you're not around. So you're going to check for understanding. Now in today's day and age, I always encourage students to record this part of the lesson especially, because so often students will leave and they forget everything you went over, or they read their notes and they don't remember what they mean. So if you're comfortable with it, have your students videotape either the entire lesson, parts of the lesson, maybe they use an audio recorder, but that's going to really help your students, and then they'll have no excuse to say, I forgot about that, because they have that recorded. So all of that is the majority of the lesson, and then it's super important to close each and every lesson. A lot of times lessons end where it's just like, oh, we're out of time, see you later. We don't want that to happen. We want to leave at least 5 minutes at the end to summarize everything we did, what worked, what didn't work, where are we at, what comes next, what are the goals for the week. What I like to do is have my students write out their goals for the week. So at this point, I like to ask them, all right, so what are our goals for the week? How have they assessed what the next steps are? Instead of just saying, here's what you should do, actually ask them, what do you think you should do next? And together, you can create their goals for the week and they will write them down. You also want to give your students a chance to ask any clarifying questions, talk about anything that was confusing, that they were struggling with. You want to make sure they understand exactly what's going on and that in their mind, they feel confident about going off on their own and working on all this stuff. So maybe this routine will work for you exactly as described, or maybe you're going to try something totally different. But the most important thing is that you establish a routine and you stay consistent with it in all of your lessons. So let us know, does this one work for you? Do you have a different routine? Did you never have a routine at all and suddenly you've tried it out and it's worked for you? We'd like to know in the comments, so please leave a comment below. Happy playing, happy teaching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.